Okay.
Hello everyone. This is Cynthia Gartman with Seniors Blue Book, and today we're welcoming Mary Brunsky of Demeter Financial Services. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Cynthia.
Mary offers financial services that includes Medicare planning as part of that. So, Mary, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and your firm and what all you offer.
Thanks, Cynthia. Well, this is a second career for me, really more like a fourth, but that's a long story. Anyway, I got interested in how money works right after college. We had moved from Ohio to Texas, my husband and I, and we had to borrow money from family to afford our first month's rent and security deposit. So from then on, I decided to start studying how money works and how I could make it work for me. 8 years ago, I got into the financial services industry and I learned a whole lot more about how to do a complete approach to the financial health for people and how each advisor approaches these practices very differently.
Excellent. So let's get right into it. Top mind question for everybody is, what do you think of retiring right now during this whole COVID-19 very interesting, weird time of our history?
Do you remember that comedian Bill Engvall?
I do.
You know, he used to talk. Okay, he used to talk about people who would ask a question like, go up to a fisherman and look at a long line of fish and say to him, "You catch all them fish?" And the response would be, "Well, no, man, we just talked him into giving up. Here's your sign."
Yes.
So my take on it is it kind of depends right now on what you want out of retirement and what you already have in place. Most
Sure.
people are going to say, you know, a lot of advisors will say, "Oh, no, here's your sign." It might be a little more challenging to retire right now, but it's not stupid. It would just be, what would be less than smart is not looking at that carefully before you make a decision.
Yeah, so you really need to pay attention to what's going on, but the answer is not no. So what would
Right.
you recommend to someone who wants to retire right now?
Well, sit down with your financial advisor and see how you've been impacted. And if you don't have one, it's time to probably find somebody, you know, talk to your friends, get some recommendations. I'd interview a few of them and then decide who you can work with. You need to have clarity on your goals and make conscious decisions. So I'd ask someone first what they're going to do in retirement. Do you plan on traveling, remodeling your house, volunteering? What are you going to be spending money on? What are the trade-offs you're willing to make? Because so many people believe that retirement's going to be cheaper, but
Right.
you know, because they're not driving as much, not buying the big dress clothes, you know, they're going to be in a lower tax bracket. Well, then they realize, oh, well, we like to travel. We're still giving gifts. We're still eating out. We're still spending money. And many greatly underestimate that cost of healthcare in retirement. So you have some people then that they get scared and kind of go to the opposite extreme and they don't want to spend money on anything and they're miserable. That's not the retirement they wanted and they don't know how long their money's going to last, so they don't spend any.
So can you tell them how long their money's going to last?
Well, I can make I can make projections, but I really don't know how the market's going to react tomorrow, 5 years from now. And that's assuming that they have some kind of a 401k, pension plan, or stocks. If they're sitting in cash at the bank with today's low interest rates, they're most likely going to have to curtail their spending or get another job. Those interest rates are just, yeah, they're not keeping up with the cost of living. Gas prices are down right now, but they're not going to stay there. Food costs are up, and healthcare costs are up. And cash is great, but it's a finite product. So if they're in the market, we can look at what are the funds they have. Can they move to some different funds that are actively managed to minimize losses? Should they consider an annuity? And what gaps do they have to cover? And what are some strategies to address those?
Okay. Okay. So you would manage their investments for them. Is that how you make money?
Well, I have to disclose, I am a registered representative of Mercap Securities, which is a registered broker dealer, and I conduct my securities business through them. Additionally, I'm also an investment advisor, representative of Mercap Advisors, which is where I conduct my advisory business.
Okay.
I could simply help them come up with a plan and charge them a fee from that. If I'm setting up investments for them, I can earn commissions or ongoing fees, or
Okay.
I can take a set percentage, such as 1% of their accounts. Any kind of a flat fee, I can provide guidance. Many people don't really understand what their advisors are charging them or how they're earning their money. So I do two things. One, any transaction or recommendation, of course, has to be in the best interest of the client. That's actually a requirement for most of us these days.
Sure.
And the second thing I do is I let them decide how they're going to pay me. So if a
Okay.
client decides to proceed with the broker dealer security business, then I'm paid a commission on the transactions. If the client decides to proceed with an advisory account, I'm paid a fee. And for each of those transactions, I outline all those costs with my client in writing prior to doing the sale.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I would suppose to do all of these various things that you do, that you've had a lot of training. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, a lot of the job is on the job training, but I have taken several courses through American College of Financial Services over at King of Prussia. I've received their retirement income certified professional designation in 2015.
Okay.
That course study focuses on spending in retirement because people go from savings to retirement to spending with no earned income, and it's a challenge to get that right. So I help them make their decisions based on facts and not fear. Most retirees are going to see 5 market downturns in that time frame. The advisors today are talking a lot about sequence of returns, and they do these illustrations of, depending on when the downturn occurs, whether you're retiring right then or it happens later in retirement, how that means more or less money in the long run. And
Okay.
the thing I don't like about those illustrations is they assume that nothing changes. There's no change in behavior when the downturn occurs.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking at it, hopefully you've put some things in place that you can kind of wince when the market drops, but you don't panic. And secondly,
Mhm.
that you're in a position that you can make some adjustments so it minimizes the impact.
Sure.
It's not ideal when the market goes down, say 30%. But if you aren't pulling money out, you can allow that market to recover and get you back to where you were or beyond. If you
Mhm.
are pulling money out, you're not taking all of it at once. So you can still let some of those things work for you, and you
Mhm.
can make adjustments to where and when and how much you're taking. So then after, about 2 years is about the time frame for a downturn to recover. At the end of that time, then you can look at what you're doing. Do you want to keep doing that, or can you make another change? Decide on your course of action then.
Sure. Sure. So I've heard the term set it and forget it in regards to investing. Are you saying not to do that?
Well, I'm saying it's more nuanced than that. One
Okay.
of the reasons why women tend to do better than men is they don't jump in and out of their strategy. Men are more likely to try to time the market to get the rewards.
Mhm.
And traditionally, men are willing to gamble, and women are just more cautious. They know they live
Okay.
longer, and they're looking for security versus big winnings.
Sure.
And when you consider that most women, by the time they reach age 50, they will have on average earned $460,040 less than a man in the same job. So they need to be smart with their money. And that comes from the AAUW Work Smart program, available online, whether you're a member of the American Association of University Women or not, but the AAUW Work Smart program.
So women earn $460,040 less than the same man at a comparable job. Wow. So
Yep.
what's the best course of action for anyone right now? Man, woman, whatever.
Well, if you don't have, if you have an advisor, sit down with them. Be
Okay.
open, all about your concerns, your questions, put it all out there. If you don't have an advisor, go ahead and talk to your friends, find out who they use, interview several, and pick the one that's going to work for you, and to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Some people will say, I don't have a lot of money, an advisor is not going to work with me, or I can't afford it. Well, there are advisors who will work with people who are still building or still trying to figure out how they're going to get through retirement. So you just keep working until you find that advisor that will work with you. And so, you have options to make your money last.
Right, right. And if they want to find out more about you, they're going to have your contact information at the end of this video. What final words would you like to say about contacting you and how they can do it?
Well, they can always visit my website. I think you're posting that at the end of this. I have a Facebook page. And with those, you'll have my phone number, my email. You can reach out. We can do about a 10-minute phone call to see if there's going to be a little bit of a fit, whether it's worth setting up a meeting. And those meetings today, we can do them via phone, computer. I can come sit at the end of your driveway if you want me to. We can just go from that. So if you're curious about those options, give me a call.
Well, Mary, thank you so much today for joining us. And I know that I've learned a lot today, and there's a lot of options out for folks that are retiring. And thank you so much for being here with us on Senior Blue Books Senior Care Spotlight. Have a great day, everybody.